The SoundPEATS Opera 5. This is a true wireless IEM with one dynamic driver and two balanced armatures. Yeah, build quality, it's pretty chunky, but I didn't have any fit issues once I found the right tip for me. The tips that it came with weren't my thing. I got myself some true wireless foams. They're like a little bit more shallow so that you can get this thing to fit inside the case. But yeah, once I found the right tip for me, no fit issues whatsoever. These stay in my ears when I'm at the gym. And yeah, I just thought it was cool that these have three drivers in there. Has LDAC, has transparency mode, has active noise cancellation, has EQ support, touch controls. The case, pretty decent size. It's big enough to, hold the IEMs, but it's not like too big. Fits in my pocket. USB-C, has a LED, tells you the battery life. Solid build. Bit chunky, but solid. How do these things sound? So when I show you the graph here, it does look like the treble just kind of drops out of nowhere. That's just a limitation of my MacBook Pro. Don't take that too seriously. I did a manual sweep with these, and it has good extension. Treble extension on this, totally fine. That's just, limitation of my MacBook Pro. Not sure exactly what that is, but how do these things sound? The stock tuning, not really my thing. Has a good amount of bass, but it has a bass tuck, and anyone who knows me knows I don't really like bass tucks. Upper mids are okay, a little bit too much for me, but they're fine. But then the treble is pretty spicy. Treble's a little bit too much for me, a little too hot for me. Now, once I threw my EQ on, keep in mind when I show you my EQ here, it looks really wonky, but it's only like a 6 dB swing. So look at the graph, look at my EQ, you'll kind of see, I'm just trying to get it a little bit closer to where my preferences are. I fill in that bass tuck a little bit, bring down that spice, and kind of give it a downward slope. I'm just a big fan of my low ends. What can I say? With EQ, this thing sounds excellent. Absolutely excellent. This sounds better to me than the majority of IEMs that I own under $150. They told me the MSRP on this is going to be over $99. I'm not exactly sure what the MSRP on this is going to be, but they sound better than a lot, if not most things that I own that are under, I'd even go as far as say like $150 to $200. So if these are under $200, I think these are worth the buy for the sake that the convenience of the true wireless as well as the sound quality. These sound pretty stinking good. I've never heard a true wireless sound this good to me. Honestly, especially after EQ. Before EQ, I could take it or leave it. It's not really my style of tuning. After EQ, I genuinely really like these. I really like these. The treble has a nice quality to it. The bass is actually solid, like super solid. And I played around with the EQ a bit and boosted that bass right up, and it's a lot of fun. So you can really dial these into your preferences, and it makes it hard to kind of talk about the sound because you can essentially dial these in to how you like. But what I will say is it does sound like these are quality components. This does sound high quality to me. This sounds good to me. If I compare it to like my other true wireless and stuff, this just completely blows those out of the water. I actually enjoy listening to these. These are now what I use to go to the gym. I used to be using true wireless adapters onto my like Timeless or onto my Woo or onto something. No, I'm going to be using these in the gym going forward because, well, they're just so convenient. Like how this all kind of works out for me, they're really convenient. They stay in my ears. I'm able to dial these into my preferences. It has active noise cancellation. Like, I'm going to be using these quite a bit. I really like these. I do suggest them, especially if you're willing to dial in the EQ. If you're not willing to play with the EQ on that app, I'm not too sure. Not really my thing, but if you're willing to EQ this and if you're willing to dial it in, these sound excellent. These sound awesome. I especially with LDAC, I would be, it'd be hard for me to say that they're true wireless. Like while I'm listening to them, it's like, these sound as good, if not better, than most things that I own under $200. That's awesome. That is awesome. I will say the app is a little bit clunky. It glitches out sometimes. Does give me some issues here and there. And when I went to update the firmware, it wasn't a smooth process. I I had to put them onto my iPhone, update the firmware on my iPhone, and then I could put it onto my Android and use the LDAC and all that stuff. And some reason I couldn't get it to update on my Android. So it has some things that they kind of have to iron out, but I'm sure that they'll do that as they, upgrade the app, upgrade the firmware, stuff like that. But overall, once you get the EQ dialed in, once you get these things sounding how you like them to sound, awesome. Awesome product. Easy recommendation. Like, it sounds like a good quality treble. The mids and the bass aren't, getting in the way of each other. The dynamic driver bass, sounds good. It has LDAC. Like, I'm having a hard time, when it comes to the sound, especially after EQ. There's not a lot of bad that I have to say. My only complaints is the app is a bit clunky and these are a bit chunky. That's my main concern. That's my main complaints. And the clunkiness doesn't really bother me. They fit fine for me, especially when I use foams. It might bother some people, but doesn't bother me. And the app, once I got it working, it's working. I don't, it's fine. So yeah. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time,